Hello, I'm back. It's the guy that looks like Ratchet from Marvel. I'm here again to look at the weird side of tech and science and why science can't explain. Matter of fact, there are some things they claim to explain that I have questions about, but without further ado, I'm going to start observing. And please help me observe. Shout out to the two guys that are always coming back to watch. The three of us are here, 300 strong, divided by 100.
Movila Cave. In southeastern Romania, there's a cave that was locked away from the slightest ray of light for an estimated 5.5 million years, and that has a completely different atmosphere from the Earth. The cave was discovered by workers looking to set up a power plant. They tested the ground to see if it was a safe place to build and cracked open a pathway that leads into one of the strangest places on Earth. If you descend through the narrow shaft and past a series of tunnels, you enter a chamber with a lake of sulfuric water stinking of rotten eggs. The air there is toxic, filled with hydrogen sulfide and contaminated with 100 times the surface level of carbon dioxide. The strangest part...
I have a question here already. Did they already know? Did they already have the expertise or knowledge to know that it was toxic, so they went in there with oxygen masks? Or was this trial and error? I would hate for that to be trial and error. It's just a question I have. I guess I could look that up. I don't know. I don't know. And it makes me also wonder when exploring these caves. Well, I guess people tie ropes to themselves, or I'm sure they don't leave breadcrumbs back to the entrance, but anyway, I'm gonna let them carry on.
though, is that a whole ecosystem has survived inside. Researchers have found 33 species inside the cave that don't exist anywhere outside of it. They've adapted to survive in a sulfuric atmosphere, living by feeding off a foam on top of the stones.
So all these things eat foam and they breathe in the toxicity. That's really cool. I wonder if I'm sure they took them out of the cave or took samples of these creatures out of the cave and got them preserved somewhere to study, of course. That could be a whole other video.
Cliff eggs. This is certainly the case with one rock cliff in China's Guizhou province called Chandaya, which has been baffling geologists for decades. No one seems to be able to explain the unusual stone formations it creates every 30 years. The Mandarin name Chandaya translates to egg-laying cliff, and it's just as bizarre as the name would suggest. This 65-foot-long formation has been mysteriously sprouting stone eggs for generations, and no one has been able to explain why. According to Shui people from...
That's really weird. I guess they just call it eggs because it's shaped like eggs, but that's really weird. It's like really round. There's no like jaggedness about it. It's interesting.
From the local Gulusai village nearby, the egg formations take 30 years to develop. Villagers have known about this strange phenomenon for generations, and many of them journey to the cliff to touch the god eggs, believing that they bring good luck. In fact, nearly every one of the 125 Shui families who live in the Gulusai village have at least one of the eggs displayed in their home for worship, and there are plenty more scattered throughout the village as a sign of good luck and prosperity. Growing idol. Located in the Karnool district, Yaganti, India, is a popular shrine of Lord Shiva that sees devotees thronging to it in large numbers every year. Interestingly, the Nandi statue set up here has seen a growth in its size over the years, and it's not a myth. Archaeological Survey of India has confirmed that the idol increases by 1 inch in every 20 years. Experiments suggest that the rock used to make the idol exhibits a growing nature.
Yeah, I wonder if that's something, maybe there are some elements in there that causes that particular rock to expand. There are certain things that do expand over time, whether it's plants or I guess non-biological material. So I could see that being a possibility. If it's made out of a particular material that just slowly expands over time, I can see that. I can see that being explainable, or that's guessable, I guess.
Another mystery surrounding this place is that, if legend is to be believed, a sage cursed the crows from entering the temple, and so no sign of crows can be seen here. Strange magnetic lake. Most tourists come to Aurangabad to visit the Ajanta and Ellora UNESCO World Heritage Sites, but never make it as far as Lonar. Lonar Lake is located 4 hours drive from Aurangabad in the Buldana district in the state of Maharashtra, western India. It's not visited by many tourists because many people are unaware of this beautiful and mysterious place. In November 2004, NASA's Terra satellite acquired a great image of the mysterious lake. Scientists have long been puzzled by the strange electromagnetic disturbance in this area and have tried to find a cause. The lake's water is not normal and the lake itself appears to be completely misplaced. NASA scientists and Geological Survey of India officials have long wondered how Lonar Lake can exist and what's wrong with it. Lonar Lake is approximately 150 metres or 500 feet deep, with an average diameter of almost 1,830 metres or 6,000 feet. The perfectly circular lake shows evidence of higher magnetic readings than the surrounding area. Lonar Lake has triggered scientists and officials to attempt answers to questions like, why is the lake alkaline and saline at the same time? Why does it support microorganisms rarely found elsewhere on Earth? Why do compasses fail to work in certain parts of the crater?
Now, as far as the compasses not working, I could be wrong, but compasses operate by the magnetic field of the Earth's poles, right? So if this, area gives off magnetic interference or it's magnetic itself, I can see how that would throw off the compasses. I hope it's not too big because I guess you could get lost in there if you're using a compass. But that's something I was thinking about.
What lurks at the bottom? Geologists suggest that the lake could in fact be a meteor impact crater. Objects that came from space are generally more electromagnetic than material that they strike on terrestrial Earth. While examining the lake and water, local geologists found minerals and rock fragments that are formed when high-pressure, high-temperature metamorphism occurs. Scientists discovered unusual minerals like masculinite, a kind of naturally occurring glass that's only formed by extremely high-velocity impacts. So there is enough scientific evidence to
Well, there may be some credence to that, right? If it's a crater and the glass is usually formed by, as I say, through some high impact. I mean, something could have been impacted with a heavy dose of magnetic force behind it or energy behind it. Who knows?
The Lonar Lake was formed when a 2 million ton meteorite moving with a speed of 90,000 kilometers an hour struck the Earth. When the impact occurred is uncertain, but scientists estimate it could have been between 35 and 50,000 years ago.
Now, this is one thing that I have no clue about. The whole guesswork with the timing and the years, and people say, oh, carbon dating, but then I've seen information that kind of has questions carbon dating and its accuracy. So sometimes I wonder, is this time guesswork correct? Right? Again, a lot of this research, it can be guesswork. I'm not the scientist that looked it up. I'm not a geologist, but sometimes I just wonder, right? When it comes to time, especially in science, when you need to be able to observe things using scientific method, but if you weren't around to observe it, not saying they're wrong, but sometimes the principles here, it's a challenge for me to line them up, right, based on what they say, based on what observable science, the rules observable science goes by, right? When it comes to some things, the guesswork, it's like they go outside of the rules. So that's when it kind of causes me to raise my eyebrow. Anyway, I rambled enough.
It's the Earth's largest and only hypervelocity impact crater in basaltic rock, and this beautiful Lake Lonar can be described as a little-known astronomical marvel on Earth. See, ironically. The Petrifying Well. In Knaresborough by North Yorkshire is a well that seems like something ripped out of a story by H.P. Lovecraft. It's a place where water trickles down a cliffside that looks like a skeleton's grinning face, and where anything you place under the water will turn to stone. The process usually takes 3 to 5 months, but you can leave anything you own under the trickling water, and when you return, it'll be stone. People have left everything from teddy bears to bicycles there, and everyone has been transformed into a statue.
Now, there's a lot of uses I could see for that. Now it's got my gears turning. I'm just wondering, if you have something that you want to harden, but he says 3 to 5 months. I guess if you have the patience for it, if you're not in a hurry. But still, there's a lot of uses for that natural stoning of materials, and Just basically, I like the fact that it stones things in their shape, original shape. That's really cool.
For a long time, people believed that the well was cursed by a witch. Scientists today, though, have found that the water just has an unusually high mineral content. As a result, it creates a hard mineral shell over anything it touches, just like how stalactites are formed in caves. The Ringing Rocks. At the top of a hill in Pennsylvania, there's a field full of strange rocks, and nobody knows why they're there. There's no higher cliff sign nearby, so they couldn't have fallen through a landslide, and the natives that knew about it before European settlers arrived believed it to be a natural phenomenon. Their being there is hardly the strangest part, though. Instead, that honour goes to the sound they make when you hit them, a chiming ring that sounds almost like the cymbal on a drum kit. There are theories, but we aren't completely sure why they make this strange noise. One person investigating them, though, found that they're making it on their own. When you hit a single rock, it lets out a low-frequency tone that can't be heard by human ears. When you put them together, though, the tones interact, and that's the sound that we actually hear.
That's pretty neat how that works. I wonder if they could make musical instruments from that. But I guess they just go up there and play around with the rocks. That'd be interesting to visit that place, just to make some music myself.
Twin Town. Experts who visited the remote tropical village of Kadini in Kerala have been left scratching their heads over the phenomenon that's seen almost 6 times as many twins born than the global average. Baffled doctors are trying to unravel the mystery of this Indian village boasting more than 220 sets of twins born to just 2,000 families. In 2008 alone, 15 pairs of twins were born in the village out of 300 healthy deliveries, and this year is expected to top that number. In the last 5 years alone, up to 60 pairs of twins have been born, with a rate of twins increasing year on year. What's fascinating is the increasing number of twins with each passing year. Some speculate that it's the chemicals in the water that's causing the birth of twins, but the truth of the fact is that no one knows the answer to this mystery. For now, Kadini remains an unsolved mystery.
Speaking of that, I do know of a place, I think it was a town on the border with Michigan and Canada, where there's a lot of chemical plants there. And this place, they say a lot of girls are born. Like, not a lot of boys, but mostly girls, which is interesting. In the case here in the video, they say the chemicals in the water have nothing to do with it. But I wonder, though, in that case I just brought up, if the chemicals have something to do with it, does it, like, kind of inhibit the XY chromosomes from, developing, and kind of just pushes XX chromosomes? I don't know. Anyway, just something I was thinking about.
Amazing Mount Roraima. We're all aware that mountains are formed when 2 tectonic plates crash and buckle up the Earth, but if that's the only theory we've got, how do we explain this perfectly flat plateau of Mount Roraima? Correctly titled the Tabletop Mountain, this rock is the highest point of the Pacaraima mountain chain of South America. The massive plateau is around 20 square miles in size and is more than 9,200 feet tall. Explorers and researchers find it quite difficult to scale the peak of this mountain. So how come Roraima is flat? The answer is that this mountain didn't rise from the ground. Researchers think that this mountain began to form when sand settled down and started to form a rock called sandstone at the bottom of the oceans. Scientists believe this was around 2 billion years ago.
Again, the thing with the time, anyway, kind of pet peeve. Hey, if you look closely, does this look like kind of like a primate? The shape of a primate? This is just a random video shot. I know it's nothing carved, but it's just funny how it looks like a primate right now. But yeah, I was wondering why that place is so flat. I wonder if anybody has tried to parachute down on that. I know he said that the explorers and scientists found it hard to get up there, which is obvious. It's not like a mountain where you can kind of climb and it's kind of like at an angle. But I wonder if someone's tried to just parachute down or helicopter on that plateau.
This means it took almost half of the Earth's life, according to their dating, for this to occur. After the level of the ocean dropped, erosion chiseled down the area surrounding the plateau, and this is how the ancient flat mountain is believed to have come into being. Confused? You're not alone. Imagine swimming deep in the ocean only to find a river in the middle of the ocean. Yep, that's what happened to the deep-sea divers who explored this site. There's a river that lies at the bottom of the Black Sea that has waves, rapids, waterfalls, and everything you'd typically expect from an above-ground river. While the river underneath the Black Sea is one of the most popular ones, several more exist, including one under the sea in Mexico. It's such an interesting phenomenon to study. Devil's Kettle.
That river thing is weird. So it's underwater and it's another river. Like, yeah, the physics of that's just really weird. You have a river underwater, so it's flowing separate from the water that it's under. That's crazy. I wonder if the temperature is different or just something else about it. That's crazy.
As far as natural mysteries go, the Devil's Kettle in Minnesota is one of the most intriguing ones.
Anywhere that has devil's kettle or just the word devil in it, it's just I wouldn't go there. There's some of these places where the nicknames have something has to be going on to where they nickname a place a particular name. I don't know if I'd go there, but I guess it's unlimited where we can go for research.
At a particular point along the Brule River, the river's water splits into two. One split continues its course onto the Lake Superior, and the other split, well, we have no clue where it goes. Scientists know it has to end up somewhere, but we don't know where that is. Scientists first tried putting dye into the kettle and waited to see which part of the lake turns up colours. It was a futile effort. Nothing turned up. Next, they decided to try it with ping pong balls. They also vanished without a trace. What the heck is going on? We all know that the laws of science dictate that the water has to turn up somewhere. Even if it's being stored underground, there should be markings and it should be traceable. Aliens, parallel universe, glitch in our programming, some Mayan trick. Your guess is as good as mine. A peculiar pond. Ponds are usually deep blue or green in colour depending on the amount and the kind of vegetation present in them. But this one is coloured quite differently as compared to the others. Located in Hokkaido, Japan, the blue pond is extremely rare, and it has a vibrant shade of blue that some say looks like it's made of Kool-Aid. This pond was artificially formed in the year 1988 after a dam was built in the Bay River. The reason behind forming this was to keep the volcanic mud flows from Mount Takachi from reaching the town nearby. But why is the colour so beautiful and vibrant? According to scientists, it's because of the high concentrations of aluminium hydroxide in the water that's hard to dissolve, and thus remains suspended in the water, and also reflects sunlight in a particular way. So, depending on the weather, the water either appears clear blue or jade green. The sulphur in the water from the Reno volcano also bleaches the rocks at the bottom of this pond, leaving it looking like a blank canvas.
Yeah, that's I don't know, that one particularly was kind of anticlimactic for me, but I can see how the colors would form and how that would that's kind of artificial. It's not like natural. It's not like a natural phenomenon, right? It's kind of artificial, so, or maybe it's half artificial, half natural. I'm more of a shrug with that.
Sleeping City of Kalachi. City of Kalachi, Kazakhstan is not Disney's creation. It's as real as it gets. Citizens of Kalachi face a very peculiar epidemic. People just collapse into naps randomly, even while walking on the road. They also report memory loss, fatigue, and hallucinations. The epidemic affects people from all genders and ages. Kazakhstan has even recommended evacuations, but they are no closer to solving the problem. One theory suggests that the residents are facing some kind of radiation poisoning since the area is near a uranium mine.
I mean, I have no idea. I'm not going to say it's a uranium mine, but I mean, come on. I don't know.
However, there are flaws in the theory. All the blood tests and other monitoring has turned up zero evidence. Secondly, there's a town which is closer to the mine than Kalachi, and they've reported no such epidemic.
Based on the map he just showed, it doesn't look like that town was closer. But either way, it still could be an effect of the radiation. They didn't say how long this has been happening. Was this happening before the mine got there? Or did it happen while the mine was there? I don't know.
Circles of Namibia. There is an ecological mystery sitting throughout Namibian deserts. There are fields of grass with circles carved in them at regular intervals. The circles are almost perfectly created and can range from 10 to 65 feet in diameter. P.S. If you're thinking of the movie Signs, you're not alone. Forget explaining the circles. Scientists are not even sure of the more basic questions such as, why are there circles? Why not any random shape? Nothing grows in these circle patches. Scientists have come up with various theories and all have been debunked almost immediately. In 2013, Norbert Jürgens, an environmental scientist, said that termites were the cause of the circles. But in 2015, biologist Walter Tschinkel tested the hypothesis and disproved it. Never-ending lightning storm.
I mean, those circles could be, I have no idea. I don't think of signs though. It doesn't make me think of the movie Signs. It makes me think of something else. I can't. I don't have it off the top of my head right now. But I've seen some of those just randomly. You're walking, you see grass growing, and there's patches where grass doesn't grow. But yeah, this does look like a pattern. So I don't know.
2. Ram Setu, or Rama's Bridge, is a causeway that's created across the sea connecting Pamban Island in Tamil Nadu to Mannar Island in Sri Lanka. Scientific studies have determined that the Polk Strait is a natural bridge formed by limestone shoals. However, Hindu mythology says that it was built by Lord Rama with the help of Vanara and the monkey army. He had to construct this bridge to reach Sri Lanka as his wife Sita was kidnapped and was imprisoned there.
That's pretty interesting. So he built the bridge with the monkey army. It reminds me of that old. Is it Wizard of Oz, where they had those flying monkeys? There were some other shows with flying monkeys. I thought it was funny. Well, these aren't flying, but they remind me of the flying monkeys from some show.
Surprisingly, the time of Ramayana, 5000 BCE, and the carbon analysis of the bridge sync properly. This causeway is visible from an aerial view even to this day. The whole issue of Ram Setu is mysterious, and that makes us talk about it even more. It's said that Rama's Bridge was above sea level. Even some historical records suggest that it was walkable till the 15th century. Even the estimated depth is around 3 to 30 feet in the area of this causeway. Even though the Rama Bridge is inside the water, the ships cannot sail on it. The water here is shallow, with the level of depth varying at certain points. Hence, ships from India have to take another roundabout route to reach Sri Lanka. Ramayana mentions that the Setu was constructed.
That would be. It reminds me of in a way, of the Panama Canal, where they had to basically bore a way through so ships could come through. But yeah, this would be a huge inconvenience.
With floating stones. Surprisingly, such floating stones are scattered across Ramaswanam even to this day. What do you guys think?
That is crazy. Floating rocks. I'd love to see that.
Is it man-made, or was it really constructed by Lord Rama and his monkey army? If it's man-made, how do you explain the floating stones? The disappearing lake?
That would be awesome to see. This goes on and on and on. I could sit here for a long time, but I'm not going to do that because you're probably getting tired. You have stuff to do too. Not that I have anything to do, but I'll just stop it right there. And I want to appreciate your time for listening. Well, all two of you. The three of us here together, because we're the 300 divided by 100. All right. No more my lame jokes. Thanks for listening, and I appreciate your time. And please like and subscribe.